All right, so today we're going to be comparing the three main pens that Supernote sells on their website and to find out which is the best for your Supernote device. I'm going to focus primarily on the Manta in this video, but I will reference how some of these work with the Nomad when it is different. So in this video, we're going to compare the Supernote Heart of Metal Pen 2, the Supernote Standard Push-Up Pen, and the Supernote and LAMY Collaboration Pen, the LAMY Vista. And something that these all have in common is they're all using the Supernote ceramic tip, which means almost all of these are going to have the same basic nib to screen feel. That's going to be consistent throughout all of them, but just the comfort while writing and other features about the build is going to be what we're discussing in this video. First, we're going to look at the weight of all of these pens, and this only matters if you care about how it feels in your hand and how it may weigh down the device when it's in the pen loop. So starting with the standard pen, it weighs 13 grams. The LAMY Vista weighs 21 grams, and the Supernote Heart of Metal pen weighs 34. So some of the benefits of the lighter pen, like the standard pen here, is that once it's in this loop, especially the Manta, because it's this thinner fabric loop, it does not weigh it down much at all. It doesn't fall around when you're moving it. You have to kind of shake it to get it to really move around much. And it just slips in, slips out so easily, and you basically can never notice it weight-wise on the device, and that's really nice. That's in contrast to the heaviest pen, where when this is on, it kind of flops around a lot and folds over. It won't stay parallel. It kind of will fall down with gravity wherever it's at, which is a little annoying, and it sits further behind the device, which causes more problems as well. And you definitely can feel the weight of this on the device when you're carrying it around. So it feels more premium, which is actually the benefit of these slightly heavier pens. They definitely feel higher quality than the standard pen right here, but they feel heavier and they weigh down your device a bit more. The LAMY Vista is right in the middle there. Honestly, it's about the sweet spot weight-wise for me. It still barely feels like anything on the device, and it doesn't move around a whole bunch when you're moving it back and forth here. It feels very comfortable when carrying around, so that is great to see. So yeah, as far as weight, I think the Vista is right in the sweet spot. It could be a little heavier even to get that premium feel. I just think the Heart of Metal might be a little too heavy for me personally, but it definitely feels really nice. And the click of the cap is just high quality. It's metal. It feels great in your hand. But when it comes to the overall category of weight, I'm going to give the win to the LAMY Vista pen. I think this has the greatest balance of the premium and lightweight nature of the device. And going along with the design of these pens, we're going to talk about the caps or lack of a cap of these pens here and discuss which one actually works best. And this is where I think the LAMY Vista is actually the worst because of how ginormous this cap is, especially when it comes to the Manta. Now, I believe there are larger pen loops than this that come with it in the box. I have not attached the largest option yet, and I know that does help a little bit. But even if it fits in there a little bit easier, this is still a lot of cap to be left on your device here, and it definitely pushes it up where it's not laying flat anymore. And considering the pen itself is actually pretty stinking small, I just wish they could condense the cap a little bit. But I also know this is the classic LAMY style cap, so if you like it, you're probably gonna love this cap too. It's just not really my thing. And in this category, the Supernote Heart of Metal Pen 2 kind of takes that sweet spot for me, where it has a cap and it feels really good coming on and off, but it's not so large that it's really pushing this device up much at all, especially if I fold this cover behind. It's pretty much flush now, which is really nice to see. And it just seems a little bit more properly sized of a cap for the size of pen this is. And again, that's a personal preference, but that's just what I feel when I'm using this device. But in this section, I'm actually going to give the win to the standard push-up pen because it has no cap. And I didn't think I would like that, but this actually works so well, especially with the Manta, as even when it's in the loop, it never pushes the device up. And when you go to use it, it's completely out of the loop. There's nothing left in there at all. And it slides in and out so easily compared to the other pens. And it stays super secure. I mean, I'm shaking that as hard as I can. So it's not going anywhere, but it goes in and out so easily. And that mechanism is very satisfying. And I constantly will be clicking this thing if I'm holding this pen in my hand. But it just works and it feels like a pen. It's got a little shakiness to it. And it's not the best build quality. But when it comes to the convenience of this push-up mechanism and not having a cap, especially again for the Manta, I think this is phenomenal. Now, this is somewhere that I would say that the Nomad can differ, because this Nomad has a much stiffer pen loop here. It actually works great even with the LAMY here, and especially since I have the whole special set from Supernote and LAMY, which if you didn't see my unboxing of this, you should check that out. It's pretty cool. But even this bulky cap looks fine there, and it stays off the table and everything. So there's no problem with whatever cap you want to use. Although the Heart of Metal pen kind of is loose a little bit in there, and it jiggles around a bit more. But again, that's more of a weight issue than the actual cap itself. So yeah, the push-up pen wins this category for sure. But if you have to get one of the more premium pens, I say the Heart of Metal pen 2 has the better cap, just because I'm not a huge fan of the huge oversized LAMY pen cap. But again, with the Nomad, not a big problem. It works fine. So the last category that deals with their shape and their design here is their ergonomics and their grip. How does it feel in your hand right with it? Not the nib to screen feel, but the actual comfort and ergonomics of holding the pen. So first, with the Heart of Metal 2 pen, this feels nice, but my fingers do rest on this ridge, and that feels bad after some time. So what I'm referring to here is this ridge right before the tip of the Heart of Metal pen. It's kind of like a plastic ring here. And when I'm holding that, it doesn't feel the greatest. And that's just where my pointer fingers tend to rest. I mean, you can see like the indent of it in my finger right there. So with extended writing periods, it can start to feel pretty fatiguing on those two fingers. So not my favorite grip here on the Heart of Metal pen. With the standard push-up pen, you don't quite get that same problem, as most of the body is all one shape, but you do have a difference at the tip. So there is a very similar almost ring right before this clear tip part here, but because it's not ridged on both sides, it's still left much less of a dent in my finger, much less fatigue in that exact area. And I hold both of them really close to the tip like this. So this is more comfortable to me than the Heart of Metal pen for sure. Then here is the LAMY pen, and it actually has some ridges made into the plastic body here that's meant for your fingers to rest against. Puts you really close to the tip, which is how I usually write anyway, and that's great. So with this pen, I feel like I can fly through some notes here, and it just writes so buttery smooth, and I have lots of control. So I don't have any kind of plastic circular ridge at the top, Sometimes these ridges can dig into my finger a little bit if I slip down them slightly, but it's not bad. And overall, I still think this is the most comfortable and the most controlled writing experience out of the three of these. So if comfort and fatigue is the only thing you're worried about between these three pens, go with the LAMY Vista. If you've watched many of my videos on the channel about the Supernote, you would know what I think about the Heart of Metal pen, and the biggest problem I have with it is the non-contact writing issue. So if you go into your stylus settings, if you go into calibration, there is non-contact writing. This allows you to adjust the values here, and if you're unsure of what this is, these three explain it. I've shown this in other videos, so I'm not going to take too much time here, but if you're curious, pause the screen and read these. But yeah, so they do have kind of this fix now in settings for non-contact writing, and to be honest, I've used this now several times with the new Manta, and I haven't gotten it to do the ghost writing or non-contact writing, and I honestly haven't gotten it to do it on my new Nomad yet either. So I'm kind of wondering if my previous Nomad just had more of an issue with that, and if it wasn't even the pen itself that much. But it was weird because as soon as I switched to a different pen, actually this standard push-up pen, the issue went away. I never had another ghost writing or non-contact writing issue again. So if you get the Heart of Metal pen too, you might have to tweak these settings and mess with that a little bit. But in theory, they have fixes for it in the software now, and hopefully on the Manta they solved it completely. I haven't seen it happen yet on my Manta, but I will update you guys if it does happen. So I'm not really going to give a winner for this category. It's just a warning for the Supernote Heart of Metal pen 2, but I can't replicate the issues, so I don't know if it's even a problem anymore. So that's it. That's really the differences between these pens. They all write generally the same, and honestly, these are all great pens for your Supernote. Both your Manta or your Nomad, you're gonna love these pens. And honestly, even if you're not a Supernote user, these are great pens. I know that ceramic tips are technically not supposed to be used in other ink screens, but I've done it. I've heard of many other people who've tried it as well, and it's had no issue and no scratching on other devices. They have to have some kind of writing texture film on them. Don't do it if it's just glass. But if it's got some kind of textured film on top of it, which most e-ink note takers do, then you're gonna be just fine, and these are great pen options. Overall, I'm gonna give the win to the LAMY Vista pen, not by much. I really like my standard pen, and I like the premium feel of the Heart of Metal, but this won in 2 out of the 3 main categories, so I can't deny that this is probably the best pen you can get, especially if you have the Nomad. But I think the cap and the size of it is still a big enough downside for the Manta that I'm probably going to be sticking to one of these 2 pen options for my Manta and keep this Vista pen with my Nomad. And also it's part of the crystal clear thinking set, so I gotta kind of keep the set together, you know, it just makes sense. Also, the Heart of Metal pen and the LAMY are the exact same price, but this is cheaper. So if you want the cheapest option too, here you go, and it works great with the Manta. This is quite the bargain for the price, the feel, and the push-up feature is really handy. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and comment below about which pen you like the most, or anything you think was missing or was great about this video. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to get to 5,000 for the end of the year, and yeah, it's probably not gonna happen. I mean, but if we want to spike up right at the end here, I'm good with that, guys. But no matter what the number is, you subscribing to this channel really does help it out, and it helps me grow and reach more people. And I really do want to improve this channel in basically everything. I want to be a better host in this channel. I want to do better tests. I want to do better production and all that kind of stuff. So if you have any ideas, or if you think something was really lacking, definitely let me know that as well. I want to get better. I will take good criticism. I don't want just this video sucks or this review is bad, but if you got a great way to make it better, let me know and I will do my best to improve in that way. And if you're curious about my setup at all or want to make something similar, it's all going to be linked up in the description down below. If you're looking to get one of these devices or one of these pens, I'll have affiliate links in the description. It will be no extra cost to you, but it will support this channel. And as always, have a great rest of your day.